everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm going to be with you in 2 minutes, and we're going to be playing some SnowRunner. Isn't that exciting? It's pretty late here for those who aren't on British time. It's like 10 to 11, which means that I'm going to turn 25 on stream. In about an hour and 10, I'm going to turn 25. So that's exciting. Anyway, I'll be with you properly in a couple of minutes. I hope you all liked the video. If you have questions, if you have comments, hold on to them, and I will be around to chat about them then in a couple minutes. All right. Whoa, I'm back. In fact, I'm back with video. In fact, it's not just me. I've also got someone else here. Who else is... It's Sarah Zedig. Oh my god.
What the hell? What am I doing here?
Are you kidding me right now? What?
What a star-studded stream you've got going.
Right. The two, not just one, but both of the writers of the best video on YouTube.com. Both of the writers?
Both writers of the best video on YouTube.com. It's really incredible.
Both of the writers of the best video yet made? Wow. Okay, that's a pretty big deal. That's pretty cool that they managed, both of our agents managed to, wrangle us, get us to be in the same call right now. That's a big deal. It took a lot of negotiating. My paycheck was pretty big, I'll be honest.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm really just here for the money. How are you feeling?
Relieved would be a big one.
Yeah.
It's finally out there. Yeah, honestly, a big one would definitely be relieved.
Yeah.
What else?
I was really nervous going into the premiere because it would be so easy for people to just sort of like write this off and shit on it, but everybody in the chat was like going nuts the whole time. the whole 2 hours.
Yeah, they've been so into it.
Like 1,500 people watching.
1,500, yeah. It's really, yeah, yes, yeah. it's something.
It's really exciting.
It's fucking something. Right. So let me introduce the stream for everybody a bit more properly. What's going on right now is that for the next half an hour ish, we'll be doing a Q&A. This is what I do regularly when I've been doing a cheeky little why am I saying that? When I've been doing a video premiere, I like to come into Twitch afterwards, and if people have comments, questions, just let's chat about it. Let's just do it. Let's just go on and do it. Only this time, I did the video with Sarah, so Sarah's here as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm just going to be playing some SnowRunner for a little bit. Not for too long, because I do need to go to bed. But definitely past midnight, at which point it will officially be my birthday. So there's a little bit of Matrix going on here. There's a little bit of birthday going on. That's kind of the vibe tonight. Okay.
It's a good vibe.
Let me get this truck game up. Bound Simulator. Here we go. Okay. Right. Let's who has comments?
Hit us with questions.
Yeah, go ahead. And any whatever you want to say. What I want to say was I kept saying this to the folks I've just been watching with on my end, but like I loved like your delivery of jokes that like I wrote jokes into the script, right, that like I wrote them and they were I thought they were fine and they were very like kind of like typical of my sense of humor in videos, and then like getting to hear you deliver them and getting like when it just lined up that you were doing that part of the script or whatever, like when you delivered jokes I'd written, they were just like 10 times funnier, and I just loved them. They were really, really good.
Aww.
It was just really nice.
Aww. I actually hadn't watched this since you sent me the first like rough cut like 2 months ago, and I kind of had forgotten a lot of what we do, and like it was I just the whole time I was like, wow, this is actually a really good video. What the hell? and all of your like editing jokes. I wish I had had my green screen set up so I could do some of those bits too, because all of your green screen stuff always cracks me up.
I mean, next time that we collab on stuff, I mean, the next time will be more Matrix stuff, but like, in future, let's absolutely coordinate some of that, because I adore doing stupid green screen bullshit. It's my favorite thing.
It's very good.
I actually have some like exciting stuff planned for my next video, which will just be, I'm not going to spoil it because I'm genuinely like, the only thing I would not like to spoil about my videos is the green screen gags, but I've currently got something queued up and I'm like, it's going to be fun. Anyway,
exciting.
so let's definitely do that. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I have watched it too many times, unfortunately.
I
had
actually
all of
I've
my-
overwatched too.
Unfortunately, I had like all of my enthusiasm absolutely sucked out by YouTube.com because I had to edit it. Like, Natalie and I literally ended up making 10 edits. Literally 10. Trying to get YouTube's copyright system to behave and let the video through. And in the end, it was just a very well-worded appeal by Natalie that won the day, and we were able to just get the unedited version, the clean, good version, the same as on Vimeo, through. And it's even monetized
I'm
now.
So impressed. Yeah, that's so impressive that like I was genuinely like, how did you get all of this stuff to stay in?
Natalie was really, really clever about her appeal. Like she sourced clips that are up on YouTube and haven't been blocked, and she sent the links in the appeal saying like, these clips are on YouTube. You can't block them on copyright grounds because you allowed them elsewhere, which is actually how copyright law works. There has to be consistent litigiousness. So
Yes.
if they won't block copyright for something else, then they can't block copyright for you. So actually, she was very clever about that, and it ended up working. So as someone's saying in chat, thank you, Natalie. Yeah, she really saved the day there. Yeah.
Gabaya Sin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
That's
Asked,
Julia. I happen to know that's Julia.
Oh, I see. Well, Julia asks, will either of you make a full video on the trans reading of The Matrix? And I don't think that I will, because like I have on my channel this series about the Wachowski sisters. Like, I'm going through each of their films individually, and I've only done one video in the series. It's about Bound, and I got stuck on The Matrix because I felt like everything that you pretty much could say about it has already been said.
Right.
Like, it's such a scrutinized film.
Right.
And I got stuck, and the reason why I wanted to do this video is that I think there's so many more interesting things to say about the sequels.
Right. I mean, I've been saying this about a lot of
trilogy as a
projects
whole.
recently, but like I ended up reading something like 5 books for this.
Yeah,
like 5 whole books just to talk about a movie. Like, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like my eventual video on, or our eventual video on my channel about the extended media of The Matrix. I'm sure there will be like, I'm thinking of it as like a sort of overflow for hot takes that we didn't get into this video, or extra thoughts that we've had about the series since making this video.
Yes.
But a lot of it is sort of like me talking about how much I really like the Animatrix and the comics, and how interesting I find the video games, especially.
Right, because
the Wachowskis
we just like touch on the Animatrix here and there in this video,
Yes.
but like it is across maybe a few dimensions, arguably like, you know, on certain axes of measurement, it's the best Matrix movie. And like things, for example, like if you're talking about fitting the form, like the argument that it's live action anime, it's like, well, it is, but then like the Animatrix is anime, so it kind of wins that competition because, like, you know, anyway, stuff like this. Anyway, sorry, you were gonna say about like the video that we'll do.
Yeah. Actually, A Cassiopeia asked, "Will the extended Matrix universe thing include Matrix Online?" Yes, that's gonna be one of the things that I talk about, and I never got to play it. I wanted to at the time, but I didn't. I didn't. My PC was small and bad at the time. I was in high school. I didn't have money. I had to con my mom into buying Enter the Matrix for me.
Aw.
Um, but I really I think the Matrix Online is really interesting because it isn't uh it wasn't really like written by the Wachowski sisters, but they
Yeah.
gave it their tacit blessing. And I think it's really interesting how the Matrix Online, when you look at it ideologically, it sort of is a really profound continuation in terms of like understanding the politics of this universe in a very materialistic way, where
Yeah.
you have like the factions aren't the good guys and the bad guys. The factions are people with very different ideological perspectives on the status quo of the Matrix universe. And as the game went on, there were splinter factions that
Yeah.
emerged of like the kid decides that his faction, he no longer agrees with it, so he goes off and starts his own. And I just find that like that's endlessly fascinating to me because in watching a lot of the Wachowskis' other stuff, especially Sense8, it really occurred to me how much they root a lot of their media in a very material understanding
Yeah.
of the world, and so
Absolutely.
it's very continuous. Um, and yeah, with the fact that Lawrence Fishburne isn't in The Matrix 4, that I feel like that's a hint that they do on some level think of
Right.
the Matrix Online as
I
like canon.
This is something that'll probably end up in that video because it's just very funny to me. But in the lead up um, to the release of The Matrix 4, there was an article that was suggested in my news feed that was like, uh, interview with Lawrence Fishburne. He reveals the reason he isn't in The Matrix 4, and like I saw that article suggested, and often like you can see when a headline is just clickbaity just from kind of the wording and the way things are framed. Um,
Hmm.
but even without the vibe of it being clickbaity, I was like, no, he doesn't. I was
Yeah,
like, I
yeah,
was like, there is no way in hell in this interview he says, I'm not in the Matrix 4 because I went out like a fucking chump in the Matrix Online because of a ghost
right.
man. Like, no. No fucking way. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
And sure enough, I had a look. No, he doesn't say anything of the sort.
If that's what it was
yeah,
about, it would be written totally different. It would be like what the extended lore
I
of
exactly.
Matrix reveals about what's going to
Exactly.
be coming up.
That's. I
Like,
mean, you can tell exactly. That's exactly it.
yeah.
Jess says, "Question: You're both lovely, and I hope you had a nice day." That's not a question. God damn it!
It is true though.
I've been tricked. Um, as I said, I've seen the video too many times now. Everything was just, landing so. Well, I'll say this: like all my parts were landing so stalely with me. Sarah, I still love all your line deliveries and stuff.
See,
There isn't the added level of having to look at my own face and voice, and
yes,
having been there for the recording of my parts, which makes me hate
right.
my parts even more. But yeah, even with how many times I've now had to watch the video through, I still enjoy your deliveries of stuff.
See,
I
this,
enjoyed
that's
the sunglasses rant even more this time. And I didn't think that would be possible.
oh gosh. Yeah, I felt I actually I don't know if this is like too real, but I felt going into today with the premiere, I wasn't sure if I was gonna watch it because I was still waiting on getting brain meds when we were working on this,
Yeah.
and I sort of asked for delays a couple of times because I kept thinking like maybe there's a chance that I'm gonna get medicated now, and
Yeah.
it kept like they kept pulling that football away from me,
Yeah.
and so there was this very real extent to where I was like, I feel like my stuff in this video isn't as good as it could have been. And I felt like I don't know if I can. I stand by it and I'm proud of it, but I wanted it to be more or whatever. But then watching it, like I just the beginning of it was so good, and I wrote most of that introductory
Yeah.
paragraph, and it was like, oh wait, no, this is actually really good. My memory of this is completely nonsense because I was depressed at the time, and actually this work is
Right.
really good. And so it's like so I just wound up watching the whole thing when I wasn't sure if I was going to, and it's actually really nice. I feel really good. It's a good video.
It's a really good video, and I think I'm able to. I've matured enough as a creator to separate out my own feelings of like just being irked by how I look and sound or whatever from from like the quality of the video. Like I can be like, geez, I filmed this two months of estrogen ago.
Yeah.
I have a fringe now, and I really like that fringe, and gosh, I wish I'd figured out how to do this fringe before I filmed this video. Things like this, and I'm ultimately like, and that doesn't affect the quality of a video, and I shouldn't, belittle
Yeah.
not only my work but also your work because of that. So like that's what I mean. I know it's a great video, so I'm not,
Yeah. No, this morning we were sending voice messages to each other like oh my god, I think this could actually be huge. just in this sort of weird way of like the cultural moment that this video is coming out in. It
Right.
feels like we're just like right on the edge of a cultural reckoning with the sequels. Especially with like I realized that we're probably going to get the first trailer for The Matrix 4
Right.
in the next month or two,
Right.
and that's going to
Yeah.
kickstart the conversation of everybody being like, "Oh, hey, we should talk about the Matrix sequels now." And so we like this video is coming out at the perfect moment, and
Yeah.
I'm like vibrating on a spiritual level. My consciousness is transcending.
Because like the thing with
Because-
Matrix 4 is that like loads of people are going to be hyped for another Matrix film, but those same loads of people have all invested mental and emotional energy into the idea that the Matrix sequels are bad, and that basically it rests on that idea that the Matrix sequels are bad in some, like their view about
Yeah.
the series and stuff, and it's entirely like dissonant with how unconditionally excited they'll all be
Yeah.
about a
Yeah,
Matrix
and I
4
think-
coming out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now, like you say, they're literally just gonna have to reckon with it. Like
Yes.
it's a reckoning is coming.
and I think also genuinely the redemption of Keanu Reeves over the last 10 years is going to be a huge part of that, where I feel like everybody's sick of reboots and everything.
Yeah.
But at this particular moment, everybody loves Keanu Reeves so
Yes.
much
Yes.
that they're just going to be like, oh yeah, no, I want to like this movie. I want to see it.
Right.
Because-
Yeah.
And so that's going to force them to look back at the sequels and like reconsider them. Like it's a perfect storm that we are at the head of, and it's like it's really exciting.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to head off something. Like I said something on Twitter, which like I understand why from one perspective might be viewed as a little unkind to someone, and I just wanted to like address it. So someone in my Twitter replies brought up Patrick H. Willems just did a video about trilogies.
Yes.
And said that, like, and one of his big examples was, like, the Matrix trilogy is, the video is why trilogies don't work and why they're hard to get right. And, I mean, apart from just kind of the kind of problem of treating media as a bit of a math equation and trying to pretend as if, like, the Star Wars trilogies and the Matrix trilogy share any kind of common ground artistically, like in terms of production, like whatever, like setting all this aside, all of this, just, I really mean like all of that aside, whatever like kind of more serious and direct criticisms of Patrick's work, I think Patrick's great. I said to someone brought up this video, and I said, like they said it'll be interesting to compare this new video with Patrick's video, and I said, if Patrick comes out as trans, then it would be a valid comparison. And I just want to say that I genuinely, and you know, I could get very passionate and very into this argument, but like I very deeply do hold the belief that like the trans discussion of not just the Matrix 1 but all of the whole series, as opposed to a discussion that does not include the trans perspective, is just like so much more fleshed out. Like it's a living thing as opposed to a very like clinical thing almost. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like I and a lot of other, and I know Sarah does. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to complete this thought. Like I know a lot of other trans people, and I know Sarah does. Like have really deeply held feelings that have a lot to do with being trans, to do with the Matrix. And when I say like it would be a valid comparison if Patrick came out as trans, I mean like if you want to have another discussion like in cis world somewhere, that's fine. But a comparison like between a discussion of the Matrix trilogy that has the trans perspective and one that doesn't is an invalid comparison. This is the kind of thing I'm trying to get at here. Like, if you have cis feelings about the Matrix, then keep them in cis land. Frankly, they're such deeply held feelings. I would say that you shouldn't bother trans people with like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I watched that video, and the thing is, he's not really ever talking about the Matrix, and I think that using an image from the Matrix in the thumbnail is a little bit misleading, because he's making a much broader general argument that I find really sloppy and kind of arbitrarily limiting what he defines as a trilogy, mostly just because he wants an excuse to talk about Hollywood trilogies specifically. It is like I find that kind of analysis to be way less interesting than what we do, which is like rolling our sleeves up, because Patrick also has a video where it's like, how do you fix the Matrix sequels? And I understand where that's coming from, from the level of craft, and I think, how would I do this to make these films better is a useful writing exercise. But critically, I think, and I'm actually thinking about this with regards to Bo Burnham's Inside, actually, is like, you can look at something and think, how would I do this differently? But at a certain point, Sean is raiding with the party of 93.
Sean, thank you so much for the raid. Just so you all who are joining know right now, I just released a video called "The Matrix Sequels Are Good, Actually." If you think that's a spicy take and you need to understand it, the video is up on my YouTube channel, which you can get with the links command or whatever. But we're just chatting about that and about that topic right now. We being myself and Sarah Zedek, who wrote and hosted the video camera with me. So that's what we're doing right now, and I'm just playing some SnowRunner. And it's also going to be my birthday in 40 minutes. So those are the things that are going on. Now you're totally caught up. Sorry for interrupting this, Sarah. You carry on.
No, it's okay. But I think it's far more interesting to roll up your sleeves and dive into a work and say, no, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
how do we understand what
Yes.
it is? You can only get so far looking at a work of art from the perspective of how would I fix it? And at a certain point, when
Right.
you're when that's all you see, then you're just arbitrarily limiting
Well, you're
the palette where
analyzing,
you.
yeah, like another work that doesn't exist.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right. Um, and the same is true. I think that I often like because to me like movie making like I have done a little short film work and a little bit of like skit stuff and videos and whatever, and I also like have Patreon goals of doing more short film work. But like in terms of like big movie production, it's not something that feels very tangible and real to me, as opposed to with Sarah, who has actually worked in
Yeah.
industry more. Like, but an example that would connect more for me, and this might interestingly might connect with some other people too. Like, is Natalie and I working on games right now? And so when I'm analyzing games, and when I analyze games from a perspective of game design, like I don't like to think how would I make Resi Village different, right? But I do like to think what about Resi Village doesn't connect in a way that, say, Bloodborne does. And by the way, here, guys, I'm not saying that I dislike Resi Village. I think Resi Village is great. I'm just talking about a compare and contrast kind of thing. Where there are ways that even if you want to just do it from a level of like sheerly like a level of craft and like examining the craft level, I don't prefer to just like imagine a different text, just imagine my own version of it. I'd rather go like this is this way for this reason, and it the creator made choices, and maybe I would do it differently, but the point is that they did, and it has this result with the audience in this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if the Matrix sequels are one movie, then the series isn't a trilogy. Well, then that's what we need the Matrix 4 for, is to finish the trilogy. And that's actually genuinely what I've been thinking about it as, because since the sequels are just one movie, they are deliberately very unresolved. Like the final scene, the Oracle says to Sati, I think we'll see
him
Neo again someday. Yeah.
It's so interesting. Like, it totally does. And I think another thing that I find really interesting about it is that the Matrix didn't feel like the end of anything to me, because it ends with Neo like basically saying a little like Ted Kaczynski-esque manifesto. He's just like I mean, Neo actually says in his like kind of monologue at the end, this isn't how it ends, this is how it begins.
Yes.
So yeah, the end of the Matrix doesn't feel like the ending of anything to me. The ending of the sequels never felt like the end to me. So I don't know, on some level, when there was a Matrix 4, I was without kind of explicitly saying it, I was just immediately like, yep, that's the end of the trilogy, right? That makes like I don't know if it was ever kind of a worded thought like that, but I was just like, yep.
It felt right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like something that exists just for the sake of making money.
Yeah.
Or to cash in on a trend.
Yeah. It's like the Matrix has its own narrative. Like, it's interesting that because I think that the Matrix kind of does a story that the Matrix sequels do almost exactly the same story in terms of like where the arc goes and the beats and stuff. And I'm pretty confident the Matrix Resurrections will just do that same thing again with different things fitting out. This is what we ended up saying right at the end of the video. But like what I think is really interesting is that the Matrix sequels are about this really big kind of societal thing and about revolution. I mean, that's why it's the Matrix Revolutions, like hence the title, Whereas, like, although the Matrix is very societal, like it's so much about Neo, and that's not just an accident. Like, it's not just like convenient for the Hollywood movie or whatever. Neo is in the like, let's just look at the trans reading for a second. Like, Neo is Christian Jorgensen. Like the runners are like Morpheus is like, when runners come up against agents, we just have to run. There has never been anyone who's come up against an agent and lived. You just have to run away, right? But he says to Neo, you might be the one. And if that's the case, then you will be more powerful than agents because they live in a world based on rules, right? And Neo is like, you're saying I can dodge bullets, and Morpheus is like, well, I'm saying when the time comes, you won't have to. And what's really interesting there is basically like, what in the trans allegory, right? He's essentially telling Neo, we're trans people who've had to live in just live in utter fear because there is literally no social niche for us whatsoever, right? But you're going to be the first trans person who's going to be kind of in the public eye and opening up that like awareness and that discussion for people for the first time ever. You're going to be the first person who, metaphorically but also kind of literally, like, these agents will attempt to do this violence on, and they won't be able to for the first time ever. This idea of like, you won't when the time comes, you won't have to dodge the bullets, right? It's like in the rubric of trans people before Christian Jorgensen, like the idea, in the rubric of those people, like, you're living in so completely in the shadows that you're like, when these bigots come and they want to do violence on you, you can run better or you can run worse. The absolute best you could possibly do would be to dodge bullets. Like, that's the dream, is if you could dodge bullets, right? But what this first person, the one, can do is hold out, Neo can hold out his hand and the bullets just stop. They just mean nothing. Like, the bullets in a kind of metaphorical sense, each bullet is like is one of your, like, you'll never be a woman, you're mentally ill, all this shit, right? That's what each bullet is. And Neo is the first person ever to be able to just hold up his hand and say no. Like, he literally, right, if you watch back The Matrix, right, they're all in the hallway, the agents are all firing their guns, and Neo raises his hand and he just says no. Like, that's what's going on there, and it's very, like, kind of one for one in this allegory.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, that was all really long-winded, but my point is that, like, by contrast, the Matrix sequels end up being a lot more about this, like, tiny social niche being able to protect this tiny little community of Zion, right, and keep it from being wiped out. And I think that, like, that was kind of, fairly ahead of its time. It was fairly... Zion was kind of describing where the trans community is at now. Like, that's how it is. And I think that and this is, probably my most out there prediction, but because out there in the sense that I'm really kind of like, if I'm right about this, I'll be describing it very exactly what's going to happen. But the Matrix 4 may be a really good description of what of where trans people will be in society in, like, 20 years from now. And it may end up being another one where people are just like, they have no context to understand it because it won't even be true yet.
Yeah.
Like, we may open up the Matrix 4 and see, like, Sati and several others able to stop the bullets in midair or whatever. We're like, what the fuck? They all have the powers of the one now? What? I don't get... Or something like that. I don't even... I'm not even trying to I'm not gonna go into that whole
Yeah.
thing. That's a little bit like that is getting a little bit like how I would write it, which I wouldn't write it like that, to be clear. But like I'm just trying to talk through how the metaphor works here. But
Yeah.
anyway, I've rambled a little bit, so.
No, I think you're right. I think I don't know. There's a lot of different directions that four could go in. Obviously, we'll be able to make better guesses once the trailer comes out.
Yeah,
But
true.
I very deliberately, and I said this in the video, that I very deliberately have not really let myself think about it too much.
Yeah.
Just because I really don't want to. I don't want to set my expectations in a direction where I wind up being disappointed. But
Yeah.
I do feel like the big thing that the Matrix 4 has to do is have on-screen confirmed textual trans characters.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the thing. If that's not in the Matrix 4, even if the movie is good, I will be disappointed.
120%. I could not agree more. Verdant Gurge says, what was the process like for creating this video together? And Sarah, why don't you, because I just ranted for ages, why don't you tell us all about that?
Yeah, I think we first started talking about this video like almost a year ago, right?
Yeah, if not longer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you had set it up as like a Patreon goal thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of us, like at the time, we planned for it to probably be like a 40-minute video. And then and then I think we really got started on the work of like actually thinking about it. I think late October, early November of last year. And we got together and we watched the sequels together, and I think before that we had watched them separately, just to refresh our memories, and then we watched them together in your server, and as we've been we talked about them, and we just it was a lot of conversations, like a whole month of us just like getting together and chatting. And just like walking through our thoughts and finding new things to say.
And if a brief interjection, if I may, I think the best essays are always documentations of conversations. Like, I think the best way to do an essay is to like have a conversation, and you're either documenting your contribution to a conversation, or you with another person, you have a conversation together, and then you basically write it down.
Yeah, I mean, I filmed on a whim a video about the HBO TV show The Nevers, because I had done a whole Twitter thread and I had all these conversations with my girlfriend, and then today I recorded audio for like a 20-minute rant about Bo Burnham's Inside, because also of a conversation that I had with one of my girlfriends last night, and it's really like hitting me as I'm looking back on a lot of my other stuff. Oh wait, a lot of these videos emerged out of conversations I had in film classes or with my professors, and maybe that's part of the reason why I've fallen away from the habit of making videos, and I stopped having these conversations. And it really all the best essays come out of these conversations.
I think so. I think absolutely, and that's not just media. That's left theory, and that's everything.
Yeah. And I think from there, the big challenge for us was finding the right structure. And you were the one who came up with the three, focusing on these three characters. Because I think for a while it was very unstructured, and it was just like ballooning in length, and we weren't entirely sure how to fit everything in. And then once we arrived at that structure, it was like, okay, now, because each of those characters, beyond us just talking about those characters, they each ideologically and philosophically represent something different. For the analysis. And once we had that framework, then it all started to fall into place.
That's true. I think that's the thing. Like, I think that a part of it, when I say about like documenting a conversation, it doesn't mean to just write it down how it happens or whatever. there still is the process of like figuring out what the best way to document a conversation is, and that's definitely what happened. So I think, yeah, to just revisit what you said, like we had our conversation and it just ballooned and ballooned and ballooned because that was the process of realizing how much we had to say, and then it was like, what's the best way that we could explain neatly and structuredly to other people those things we want to say. And that was
and like to my rant about the shot, the reflection, we had that conversation where I noticed the reflection, and I realized that there was something going on there as I was talking to you, but I was doing a really bad job of explaining it because I was just sort of like, and then there's the shot, and I knew there was something there, but I couldn't quite articulate it yet. But it was because of the conversation that I was able to identify that there was even something that was worth looking at there. And then I wrote all of that down, and it's like that's sort of the process. It's not just writing down your conversation. It's sort of identifying these zones of heat where you're like, no, there's something there, and then you go back later and you think about it and you process it, and then you write a script. Because that wasn't unscripted. I was reading off a teleprompter that whole time.
Yeah. I really liked how this came together, and I feel like we were saying this as we were working on it a little bit, and I think that this is just still super true. Like, that we were basically saying, like, there was definitely one point at which we were saying, if we do it, like if the video is made at all, but as it became more like when the video is done. Yes. Like, I think we will have found a really good way to work together. I think we did. I think we found a really good, like, kind of, for when we work together on stuff in future, I think we found a really good, like, rhythm with it and structure. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I really like collaborating, and this was an oftentimes stressful and challenging experience, but that's good. That's art. That's how it works, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
you come up against the friction of having to deal with other people, and you process it, and you're like, all right, well, let's make art out of this, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah. It's really awesome that way. Are you going to incorporate on future Matrix stuff? Yeah, that's the intention. Like, we're gonna look at some of the extended Matrix media outside of the movies. There's some really interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
20 minutes to my birthday. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
How old are you gonna be, Soph?
I'm gonna be 25.
Oh my god.
People are continually shocked at how young I am, which is a weird thing to happen to me when I'm like hitting a milestone birthday. I'm like saying, oh, I'm gonna be, at some kind of boundary between my early and late 20s, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is a notable thing to me, and then I'm telling everyone, and they're all like, oh my god, you're so young, and I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to have my feelings right now, please. I'm trying to have some feelings about my thing right now. I get that you have your feelings about that, but this is like kind of my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my birthday and I'll feel how I want it.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm feeling good about it. Like, it's my last birthday was, I had realized who I am, but I had let me just think about this. I was 1 month away from starting estrogen. I had not yet started estrogen. And so I'd realized who I am, but I hadn't, kind of seen myself in quite the same way. Kind of in a very fleeting way, which I'm kind of explaining. I think this is going to resonate with trans people, and for cis people, I'm really doing my best to explain this, but like, it's going to be nothing. But like, you start off like seeing, not exactly in your imagination, because it's not about a scale of like more imaginary to more real. It's more of a time scales thing. You start off being able to glimpse this person really fleetingly, like just for a millisecond, or for a literal instant, and then like as time goes on, you begin to be able to spend more time with them, and it feels a lot like pulling them out of the mirror. Like it feels a lot like you were able to just like glimpse them for a minute, just in, well, again, not even that, an instant, and then you were able to, see them for a second, and it gets longer, and then the weirdest thing happens, which is when you like realize that you didn't think about that at all in the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And you look around and you're like, wait, where's Sophie? Because I've been trying so hard to like see her, basically.
Right.
And then you're like, oh shit, I'm Sophie, like I'm just being Sophie the whole time. And it's just fucking wild, and it's just a completely nuts experience. And I'm 11 months on estrogen today, and it's my birthday in 15 minutes.
That's incredible.
So I would say, all of that to say, speaking about my birthday, I was a month away from starting estrogen on my last birthday, and even though it was the pandemic and it was actually full lockdown, we couldn't physically leave the house or anything. Natalie and I just stuck in. It was the best birthday I've ever had.
Oh.
And now I'm 11 months on estrogen. And I'm bringing all that. I keep bringing up the HRT milestone for a reason, which is that like I was a month away from starting estrogen, but I was already on T blockers, because you can get those prescribed if you're AMAB. You can get those prescribed for hair loss. So I was already on those for a while. And I was already like on this route, and I knew what I was doing, what I was doing and what I was planning to do. And that was a big part of, as I said, I figured out who I am. And that was the biggest part of like what made it the best birthday I had ever had last year. And this year, I'm really, really me. And, so it's really something else entirely. So that's how I'm feeling about my birthday.
I'm so glad. That's exciting. That's really good. Good and wholesome.
I'm excited for it too. Actually, speaking of that, I'm going to be doing, this is something I actually wanted to mention to everybody, but I'm going to be doing another video poem later this year. I did a video poem when I came out last year. And a lot of it was about anxiety and like fear around coming out. And I've been meaning for a while to do a kind of another one that focuses a lot more on the joy of transition and what I love about being trans. And that's what I'm going to be working on. That I'm hoping to get out before the end of the summer.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and it's a lot to do with the stuff I was just kind of describing about kind of just like glimpsing yourself and slowly being able to see more and more of yourself.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do for a while a video that would just be called a video about euphoria, and I sort of structurally wanted it to be the opposite of my transitioning video, so the whole thing would be filmed outside, and it would be about finding connection with other people and seeing yourself as a trans person among other trans people in
Yeah.
real life. I was actually planning on filming that video when I was in Ireland last year,
And then you
and
got
then the
locked
pandemic
down. Yeah,
happened.
fucking of
Yeah,
course. Nice.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Well, I have kind of a similar process in that, like, I want to do. I was describing this to Natalie earlier. Like, my coming out video was filmed talking head, like facing at me, and it was all the one shot, like indoors, and all the other imagery was superimposed over me, which I did to create the effect that you're kind of seeing what I'm describing and what I'm thinking about. Like you're
Yeah.
seeing in my thoughts in a very internal way. And I want to do what I think is the exact opposite of that with this next thing, which is to film almost all of it POV, because to me, like, when you're seeing POV, it's not actually, that doesn't actually give you the kind of insider perspective that it's often used, I think, to portray, but instead it does show you the more external perspective, like, because you're seeing everything else, you know?
Yeah.
When I'm sitting here in front of the camera and I'm talking straight to you, like, that's the most direct, like, cinematically that I can give you as a representation of, like, my thoughts, because I'm just telling you them. And then, yeah, by contrast, I want to do this thing that's, like, way more of just, like, my perspective on things. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really fun. So,
Yeah. That's exciting.
yeah.
Always exciting to me to see anybody playing with the boundaries of the form, doing things that aren't just video essays.
Yeah, absolutely. We need more of it. But that's why I've been
I
explicitly
agree.
calling it a video poem, because I've been a video essayist for like 3 years now, and I in the coming out video I said a video that's a bit more of a poem than an essay. And it was a lot more of a
Yeah.
poem than an essay. Like, it was a video poem, but I didn't quite, like, go in hard enough on that and just, like, really say it. And so that's why I've been explicitly contextualizing this that way. Like, I'm saying it to people now. Like, I'm doing a poem. That's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. That sounds good. Well, I guess I can. Oh, it sounded like it's Nat talking.
No?
Someone? No.
You might
Okay.
be echo.
Sorry.
I don't know. No,
Okay,
that
sorry.
wasn't saying
I-
anything.
Okay. Anyway, I can. I feel like unless there's other questions about.
Everybody,
Matrix,
get in final questions. If there's any last things that you want to say, we can take a couple of last things before Sarah has to head off.
Yeah.
And before I mentally and physically prepare myself for aging. Question. Love the video. Is the quote, "The Matrix isn't always about the Tories, sometimes it's about philosophy and stuff," an H Bomber Guy reference, or is my brain rotting? Also, happy day before birthday. Thank you. I was riffing on something that H Bomber Guy said there. He made a joke about speed running. I can't remember exactly what, but it was that format where it was like sometimes speed runs are about playing games fast or something like that, and that was kind of the joke I was riffing on. I know that I share a lot of what we call like the bread tube audience, so like I often I think it's fun to just do little winks and riff on other people's jokes like that. I've definitely like explicitly riffed on like Sarah's jokes before, and yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think both of us are pretty open about the fact that we're very influenced by H-bomb stuff early on, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know there are a couple of jokes of his that are always on my mind.
Well, they just get embedded in your brain. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing about like video essay jokes. They have a real way of getting embedded in your brain where you can't like get them out without explaining the entire
Yes.
video to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it's a little easy to end up like riffing on them. It's not that you like forget that, it's not that you end up thinking that you came up with the joke or anything, but it's like I need to write a joke right now, and literally all I can think of is this joke that H-Bomb made, or that or that Sarah did this one time, or I don't know. I've definitely stolen like jokes off of Henry. That's a Big Joel for those who don't know. Like all this kind of stuff. Like it's just like I want a joke for this bit. I want a funny transition between what I'm saying now and what I need to say in a second. And literally, my brain will only play back sounds of Henry saying "mwah mwah mwah, gorgeous boy, mwah 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 mwah," and nothing else, and I can't function, so I'm just gonna put that in the script now.
Yeah.
Question: Happy birthday. Oh, thank you. That's again not a question. I feel like we not have a great grasp of what questions are today in the chat, but that's okay.
Yeah. I feel like this video is just so long that it's like it's hard to come up with questions.
I think that's fair
for like things, because it is what it is. I think it's self-evident.
I think I was saying to Natalie, could you pass my phone? I was saying to Natalie, like, the video could be 10 hours long.
It really could.
Because we like so much about these movies, and frankly, like, there is so much discussion to be had that's outside the remit of just, like, things we like, or why we like this thing, or whatever like this. Like, there's actually, like, bigger discussions that you could have about the implications of the way that they've used the form, especially when it comes to, like, the extended media they did. Things like this, and what we stuck to, and like that's the thing that's really funny about a 2-hour video, and you're just being like, we stuck really carefully here to just this thing, was like persuading people by explaining what the movies are about. That's it. That's the only thing we were doing in this video. It took 2 hours because they're really fucking dense and they're about a lot of stuff, but that's the only thing we did in this video. But like, honestly, like, if it was just like every single thing we could possibly say about these movies, it would be 10 hours long.
Yeah. And I think oh shit, what was I gonna say? God damn it. I had something I was gonna say and then I completely lost it. It's I don't know. I think it's a good video.
I think so too. That's the point. It's a good video.
Shit. I don't know.
5 minutes remain until I'm in my late 20s. Oh, God.
I'm in my late 20s.
I'm in my early 30s.
I don't think I believe in the mid. I think I just believe in the late. Anyway. Oh, lots of... Yeah, I immediately... Marina's telling me I'm in my mid-20s as well.
Well, before we get to your birthday, I guess, I guess I'll say... Oh, wait, hold on. Nike 2212 says, do you know of things in the Matrix that you don't like but still think they are good?
Oh, sure.
I guess,
but I don't think I can list them all right now. Plenty of things that are just fine. I don't know. Yes.
Yeah. I think like we made a point of saying the video is not, the Matrix sequels are perfect, actually.
Right. And again, again, high and or drunk, I would absolutely defend on my life that they are flawless, but like they're not. They're not.
Yeah. There's the joke that I don't like the Agent Smith Burley Brawl fight in Reloaded, but I actually do really like it. I'm just of the opinion that you could probably cut like you could probably cut like 20 to 30 seconds out of it, and it would be good because I think that there's actually
Right.
a good thing, but
Right.
I do feel like there are sequences that go on too long, and
Sure. Sure.
there's some dialogue bits that I think ah, was that really the best delivery you could go with? But I have thoughts like that with every movie,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
it's just art, and I like it.
Exactly. And on another day you'll watch it and you'll be like, no, this is perfect. In fact, and another day you'll be like, this should be longer. It just happened. It's just whatever.
Yes. Yeah, no, the more I watch these movies, the more I actually just like everything about
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
because there's just so much thought put into every single aspect of it that it's
Yeah.
like it's so understated and yet so earnest and just excellent. I don't
Yeah.
know. They're just good movies.
All right. Well, you said you wanted to say something before you headed off, and there's 3 minutes until my birthday. So what? Go. What is it?
Yeah. I just wanted to say I am in the process of trying to get my girlfriend to move in with me, and she lives on the other side of the United States of America from me, which is actually an extraordinarily long distance.
Yep.
This
A
country is just
homophobically long
gargantuan.
distance. Yep.
Yes, yeah. And so I'm gonna be doing a stream sometime later in this month. I've been streaming to raise money to help pay for the move, but I'm gonna do like an actual event stream. And
Okay.
currently, my concept for it is gonna be like a love stream where I just have a bunch of people
Aww.
on for like 30-minute blocks to just talk about stuff that we've liked over the last year that
That's
has
cute.
helped us get through to the year that this was.
That sounds so
Um,
lovely.
That sounds very nice.
because I find like playing games and stuff like a lot of charity streams when it's like playing a game to torture yourself for 24 hours. It's like I don't want to do that. I want to do something nice and pleasant.
Okay, I'm starting a
And
countdown to midnight.
excellent.
Oh,
Um,
cripes.
but I'm gonna be doing that, and I'm very excited, and
All
that'll
right,
be
that sounds
on
great.
my Twitch, which is
Yeah,
twitch.tv
you know what?
Sarah's
Drop a message in chat. Everybody click on Sarah's message in chat and go follow. Sarah, it's been fantastic to have you, and I'm going to count down to my birthday. So,
Yes.
good
Yes.
night.
Happy birthday. Good night.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. It's happening. Got 30 seconds till my birthday. Okay, I'm going to be 25 in 25 seconds. What do I do? Oh, beans. Cripes. Cripes.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
I'm gonna release a game this year.
4.
That's my decision.
Yeah.
That's my birthday wish, like I said.
Do you mean before your next birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
This year, this coming year, this following year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Oh, I guess I'm 25 now.
Yeah.
Elwin, who's staying with us at the moment, was asking earlier, like, am I just doing to the date or am I doing my birth time? But, like, actually, they're more or less exactly the same thing. So I'm 25. Been on this planet for a whole ass while.
Feeling different?
I've seen a quarter of a century happen, and some of it was pretty good.
Nice.
You're just a very old child now. That's true, I am. Oh my god. Someone just gifted a ton of subs. Thank you so much. What a nice thing to do. Aw. And they cheered. And someone else has cheered as well. This is really nice. Thanks, everyone. Living through the time of monsters, BB. Yeah, someone should do a series about that. someone should do some kind of commentary. Someone should do some kind of commentary about that. Thanks, Jess. Right, what should I do? I'm gonna truck around for a bit more. Bit more trucking.
Hell yeah.
Bit more trucking.
Trucking around.
You wanna chat about anything? Projects coming up?
Could do.
Yeah? Okay, I'm gonna put the thing on. Blip, 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 blip. There's my live screen. Actually, I want to say thank you all for being here. It was very nice that you're here. Obviously, you know, tomorrow I've been forbidden from working by Natalie, but you know, a lot of folks here are people who are regularly at my streams, and it's, you know, it's nice that you're here right now. That's, I don't know, genuinely neat. I think that's nice. You know, this is my job, and it's a job, and whatever, and we all have a whole many hours of video content about parasocial relationships and so on, but I just, like, you know, you also do spend you know, I do also spend a ton of my life, like, streaming and hanging out here, and you folks are regularly here, and that's awesome, and it's genuinely nice to me and moving that you're here with me now, and thank you for being here. It's just, yeah. Right, I'm gonna play some video games. And I'm gonna also put the jazz back on. I want some jazz on now, because I'm old.
What happens when you turn 25?
The moment you turn 25, I'm a jazz fiend now. This is by Boop Squig Shortly.
Oh, yeah.
This one's actually a collaboration with Marcus the Worm Higgs. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying earlier actually that I've made the jazz way too loud. I've made the jazz way too loud. Yeah, I was saying earlier that, like, I've got, like, green screen ideas that I'm hyped for on my next project, and what that project is a video about Alan Wake. So I'm actually going to replay Alan Wake soon on stream as well, because it'd be good to get another playthrough of that before I write the rest of that essay. But yeah, Alan Wake's really fun, and I'm reading some Stephen King for it, and also watching a ton of the Stephen King adaptation movies. Whoa, 100% of something just happened in my chat. I don't know what. It's high P. Cloudpunk made me want to listen to jazz. That's interesting. There's something very cozy about Cloudpunk, I think. Yeah. Hype train, choo choo. Yeah, there's, I don't know. I'll probably rewatch a bit of Twin Peaks as well, because, like I've been saying, that's the other thing that's very, very, very much inspired by, very much inspired by. Sorry, Alan Wake is very much inspired by that. Where do I go for this task I just accepted? Pipeline repair? I don't want to do that. I don't want to repair a pipeline. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Did you finish Quantum Break?
No, because it was ass.
Do you think you should finish it? Do you have the background?
No.
For Remedy games?
No, because it's...
Tied in together?
No, because it's ass. No, I mean, if anything, I should play Max Payne.
Uh-huh.
Because, Alan Wake's,
The author, like...
book character that he writes is very much kind of meant to be Sam Lake's relationship to Max Payne.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Don't suppose you need anyone to read any Stephen King lines. Oh, whoa. I mean, maybe. I haven't decided yet on what's going in, but sure, maybe. Where's... I need to get around to that service site. Oh, but it's that completely impassable bit. I don't know if I just don't have the right truck right now, or what's going on, but I feel like I'm kind of at an impasse with SnowRunner at the moment, where I'm kind of like a bit stuck on like what tasks I can actually do. And I feel like I've just got the wrong truck, but I also don't have enough money to buy any different trucks. And you can get money by doing the tasks. So I'm kind of like, you know? Anyway. Other projects, as Joe's in chat, and Jess is too, may as well mention that we're doing a Call of Cthulhu campaign for the Rolling with Rainbows podcast. That's going to be the first season of the Rolling with Rainbows podcast, is us trying out Call of Cthulhu. We've already done, for those who are who are my Patreon and in the Patreon Discord and in the Rolling with Rainbows Discord, we've already done session 0 where we played through The Quiet Year. And that was really, really nice.
Yeah.
I just really, really liked that. I thought that it was just... I just feel like we made exactly the right call in doing that. Thank you, Marina. Yeah, like... So The Quiet Year, for those who don't know, is a map drawing game. So, like, it was just really fun. Like, you use 52 cards of, like, a playing deck, and those are, like, the 52 cards of the... 52 weeks of the year, and each one you draw represents a different thing. And then you make decisions about what precisely happens. So you could draw a card and have it be like, something goes wrong with a project, you know, or it's actively sabotaged or something like this, and you can kind of like, yeah.
Cool layout.
Joe says, anyone here watch the map drawing? I thought it was so good. Joe, I don't know if you're in the Rolling with Rainbows Discord, or wherever else that I've posted it, but actually there have been a few really nice comments and people have been really enjoying it, so you should check that out, because I know that I've seen it and I've relayed some of the nice comments to Natalie, and Jess has seen it because it, like, you know, she runs the Rolling with Rainbows Discord, but it's some really nice stuff. Yeah, pro tip to like DMs and GMs: play The Quiet Year with your players, because like it's a really nice way to make a map that you're gonna all be like really invested in together, and like, because you made it, you drew the map, it's really, really nice. Like it's a really cool, nice time. Like yeah, like we've made like there's spooky stuff going on our map, and now I as the DM I can like just sort of build on all the spooky ideas that we've put down on the map, and it'll be a really fun thing, I think, because I'm going to be able to basically create this campaign that that builds up spooky stuff based on what was put on the map, and Nat, Joe, and Jess are just going to kind of be able to go wherever they want as players, and there's going to be potential fun quests kind of wherever. I think that's neat. I don't know. I'm excited about podcasting. It's a nice break from YouTube. It's like it is legitimately a relief. Yeah, YouTube has been like getting me down a little bit. Like, it is unpleasant the way it functions as a platform. They don't do their due diligence as a platform, and when you're on a platform and they just don't really take care of you as their, you know, as their, being real here, employees, but they won't ever admit that, then it kind of sucks. And also Natalie and I are making a game, and I'm gonna release that before my 26th birthday. I am absolutely dedicated to that idea. Yes, this is happening. I'm really hyped about that. Can you tell everyone about our game that we're making? Can you come over to the mic and tell everybody while I figure out how tasks work on this game?
We're making a lesbian horse riding romance game, and it's going to be very fun and silly and cool, and it's going to be called The Duchess. And it's Horse Girl's gonna steal away the Duchess from her horrible, shitty husband. Then it's gonna be great.
That's what you want.
Yeah, it's just what you want.
Oh, that sounds fabulous, says Verdant Gurge.
But we wanna like mechanically we wanna make it like a kind of rhythm racing game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of horse racing in it.
Games and stuff in it as well.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of horse racing in the game.
Yeah.
And then
And also
isometric exploration.
fox hunt, sabotage. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Nat's doing some character art at the moment.
It's so funny. Alex is like, "Oh, you should do like a fox hunt sabotage, like completely independently."
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's really
that's
cute.
what we're doing.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think that's gonna be really cool. And we've got loads of other ideas for games as well, but please no horse armor DLC. Do you see how there? See, Boggle is saying,
You're right.
don't make weird aesthetics into a DLC.
Yes.
See how I was like, no, that should just be a cheeky little extra mode that people can do if they want.
This is Tron.
I said that you should be able to make, if you want to just do like, play the game, but like every time you race the horse, it's like Tron.
I think that'll be really fun.
That should just be an extra mode, and it should just be free and part of the game. And Natalie was like, we could charge money for it, because she's a disgusting capitalist.
Filthy.
Julia says, it's getting pretty late, so I'm heading to bed. Have a nice stream and enjoy the rest of your birthday, Soph. Thank you so much. That's very nice of you. And I'm going to head to bed soon, too, as well. But yeah. I'm just kind of like, don't like the idea of, like, so much of the video game industry justifies predatory marketing with the justification that it's just aesthetics, it's just cosmetics, and nah. it's like yes, but to people who have like a problem with spending money on games, like, it's not just anything.
Especially if it's not fair if people think that they've just bought like a complete thing. And
Right,
like,
yeah.
but it's not complete.
Yeah, that sucks. Anyway, but I think doing the Tron thing will be really cute.
Yeah.
When we've got some time to add that on. Yeah. We've got lots of other games too. We want to do a really big project, and we've had that kind of planned for a little while, like the broad strokes of it kind of planned for a little while. We're gonna figure out so actually we decided this a while ago. For this big project we're gonna do, we're going to make a tabletop game for the writing of the more specifics of the plot. Like, we're going to write out the world kind of as a tabletop game, and then we're gonna like sort of play test that and like use it to figure out what would be fun and interesting in the game itself. I think that's a really like I don't know. I'm into that, and I think that's gonna be really fun. But the thing I was saying is, because that's going to be a really big project when we eventually get around to it, that's something that we're not doing for a long time, and we're doing these like smaller things to develop our skills and other stuff and get lots of practice. Yeah. Also, Villainous, if you're still on board. I am. Joe and I were working on this idea a while ago of like a TTRPG where the characters that you make are super villains.
That sounds so much fun. You should
Yeah.
definitely carry on working on
Yeah, I do want to do that. I think that will be really fun. Where are tasks I can do? I just don't get it. It's like every task is like, okay, deliver to the service hub. But where's the service hub? Oh, that's a locked thing right now anyway. Right. Deliver to the drilling site, but the drilling site is over there. So I just don't know. And to get the stuff to deliver to the drilling site, I need the port and the warehouse, and they're like really far away from. Like they're unexplored territories right now. Right. Okay. They're across this bridge, right? And I haven't fixed the bridge, and I don't know how. Is that like a fix the bridge thing I can just select? Where's that? No. Alternatively, Villainess, where you play as hot lesbian-coded villains. I've been saying that I think that the villains, that the as much as we can, like if you're playing supervillains, then it should be quite queer, just like really quite queer, like, because it's gonna be, but you really want for people to go in there making characters who are like, you know, the Riddler level of of ridiculous, fruity nonsense, or higher. Bridge repair. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I want to start tracking that. Jesus Christ. Pals, I figured it out. Ah, what the fuck. Well, now I have to go to that factory. Yo, this fucking sucks. Okay, I'm gonna try and go to that factory, and if the game stops me, then it'll stop me with some kind of obstacle that hopefully I can repair, and then I can use that task. And if it stops me doing that task, I'm going to bed. I'm just trying to...
If it stops me doing that task, I'll cry.
I just want to drive my truck. I don't want to have to unpick the order of, like, tasks. I don't want to have to, like, figure out things. The whole point is I just want to be a truck bow.
Let me drive.
What other projects are going on? Obviously, Monster Man is an ongoing series. We're gonna do vampires next.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and there's an overlap with the Stephen King thing there because I'm reading Salem's Lot as well, and that's both for Alan Wake and for vampires because I'm just consuming a lot of vampire media at the moment.
You're doing so many things.
Yeah, but it's
You're
paying
also
off.
doing dice farm?
But it's going really well though. Is the
Yeah.
thing. It's you're seeing the fruits of my labors. It's very
Certainly,
nice.
I just don't know how you keep them all in your brain at any one time.
I pretty obviously don't keep them in my brain.
Just write them down. Oh, I have to write things down.
But yeah, I think honestly the thing I'm most excited about is the video poem.
I'm excited about that.
I have this manifesto that I'm working on, like, and I want to do a lot more of kind of some more politically, like, explicitly political, very politically focused stuff on my channel coming up. And so I'm doing this manifesto for the online left, and I don't know if that'll actually be out this year because it's going to be a big project and it's going to take ages to get there. But that's going to be fun and interesting, and I'm hyped to get stuck into that project.
I'm really curious, like, what kind of reading you're going to end up doing for it, like, what you think is going to contribute to it.
I mean, I'm hitting up some classics right now. I'm reading your boy Ilyich right now.
Yeah, I'm just really curious about what kind of stuff's going to, like, find its way in, you know? Like, what stuff's going to stick. You giving like, yeah, this is the shit.
Well, I mean, I'm taking that for example, like, you know, I generally read stuff, I'm generally reading stuff with purpose, and I'm reading it, like, knowing, like, I want to use this for something. And so when I'm reading State and Revolution, I'm reading it with a highlighter pen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this the shit, you know. And it might just be like one passage from something, but, you know, it's useful. I still really want to focus my manifesto in a large part around Akira, because I just think it's really, like, useful to give people a kind of accessible option that way. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
people should
straight to like alienation as well, which is
Yeah.
the major kind of theme of what you're.
Yeah, like, the thing is, people should read theory if they want to be involved in discussions of theory. But on the other hand, if you want to write theory that that is asking people to do something, you know, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to write a manifesto which will tell people what they can use their time in the online left for, right? Then you should make it, you know, in a way that people can understand it more easily. And that's why I'm kind of using Akira as a reference point, because I think that it's, like, really, like, useful to be like, look at this thing, you know. If you want to understand this theoretical writing better, then the biggest thing for you to do is watch an anime, you know, or read a manga. Yeah, it's like, in theoretical discussions about, like, that are very purely about leftist theory, it is a little tiring to, you know, it's like, people should read theory for that, because if you want to be in a theory discussion, you should read some theory, and it's really kind of exhausting to constantly be in, like, discussions with dudes who will not, you know. But yeah, I want this to be something that will kind of direct people's energies and get them to do something useful. And so for that, I just want to make it, like, accessible in that way.
Yeah, it's also just like Dan Olsen said in the Walk of the Wall video.
All right.
More abstract artistic storytelling is actually way more economical. You tap straight into meaning and feeling that, you know, people can't necessarily. Well, you can say bigger things.
And that's part of why, like, using a
words.
fiction story in a piece of media as a focal point can be, like...
Yeah, there's a whole world built for you, really.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Anyway, I'm excited about that. I don't know if that'll actually be out this year, because I am just doing a ton of reading before I'm committing to it too hard. I still know what I want to say generally, because that's not going to change. Like, what I think people should do with their time isn't going to change, but, like, some more specifics I want to really, like, get the finer points down. But that's nice.
You're organising interviews.
Okay, this is an exciting one, folks.
You're doing so many things, like, it's actually hard to list them.
I am currently organizing interviews. In the sense, I am reaching out to some people so I can interview them and put the interviews up on my channel. But also, these are organizing interviews, which is the name of the series, because they're about where do I get that from? No. Oh, that fucking sucks. Okay. Because they're interviews with organizers and activists. So I've already interviewed someone from the Anarchist Federation. I'm going to be interviewing someone from London Renters Union. I'm getting in touch with some people from Belong To, which is an LGBT organization. I am hopefully going to be talking to some people from Abortion Rights Campaign. I have sent an email to Sisters Uncut, things like this. And I'm going to be trying to make a series that is really, really, really focused on like showing people directly how they can just go get involved with stuff. Because I think there's just so much like restless energy in the online left right now. Which is good, by the way. Like, it's good that we have that kind of community of, but if we're just using that energy to cancel each other on Twitter, that's not good for anyone. that you do that, and you know the people who are fucking the world laugh and reclined into their chair further, comfortable in the knowledge that we're not challenging them at all. So, you know, that's why we gotta have organizing interviews. I'm excited about the rest of this year, and I'm excited about next year. I'm excited for the future. I think I'm doing good, cool stuff. Yeah. I have also just figured out the road that I need to go down in SnowRunner. But it's also really late, so I should probably stop. The kind of accessible direction is really needed right now, IMO. It's like I say, you just wind up with people who, you know, don't like. You end up with a really annoying division between people who theoretically know what they're talking about, and rhetoricians, sophists, and they're just like, yeah, you end up with like people who have read the theory and to talk to just basically have pretty like agreeable takes, and you're not really gonna run too far afoul of them, even if you know you've got the classic age-old division. You're an anarchist and they're a Marxist-Leninist or whatever. I have so many Marxist-Leninist friends. And, you know, the reason I'm friends with them is that they're well-read, agreeable people who know what they're talking about, rather than just being shitheads. You know, it's not an issue of like this deep ideological division or whatever like this. It is a division between people who know what they're talking about and people who are, you know, kind of just shitting out opinions rapid fire, unfortunately. But like, that's what I'm saying, without the accessibility, you end up with this division where like people who don't know what they're talking about remain accessible because they don't know what they're talking about, and gibberish is very accessible. Like, that's the thing, like that, and that's the thing about, like, you know, the political streamer sphere. Like, Jess and I
Just default to status quo defense.
Yeah, Jess and I do politics streams that are really spaced apart, like, you know, never more frequent than, you know, fortnightly, because we want to take some time to research things and like think things through, you know. You just want all these awful cults of personality. But again, it's really just because, yeah, gibberish is really accessible, so it's good to just...
Hey guys, I've been researching Afghanistan, and I just realised actually it'd be a really bad idea for America to remove troops right now.
Oh yeah?
Surprise!
Wow.
I just figured it out.
It
must be true.
It has nothing to do with my dad being a weapons contractor executive.
No, that's a different one.
Fuck off. Oh, okay. It has nothing to do with me being a pathetic liberal. See, that's all of them, so I didn't need to...
I'm a socialist. America's troops should stay in Afghanistan.
Anyway, the point is, yeah, like, you need accessibility. You need accessibility in theory, and I think part of what I'm, pointing to is just is that, like, I've been considering writing a kind of section on the manifesto, which will be called, like, For Pessimists, or something like this. But it's basically like, if you don't agree with my conclusions about the state of the left and the possibilities for the future, and you really just firmly think we're completely fucked, like, you'll still probably agree on the things that I want us to do. Like, and so the thing that I want to write, for pessimists is basically just, like, skip to this section. Like, skip to my recommendations section, essentially, because I do just think that, like, the recommendations hold up, even if you don't want the theory. And in that sense, that's another way in which I hope that it can be more accessible, because I hope that I can just be like, I want you to do this stuff, and if you, don't want, like, a theoretical argument about my worldview and my point of view, I still think you'll agree with what we can do, Oh, I'm stuck in the mud. It's like this is the point of the game or something, how often this happens. It's ridiculous. It happens so often you'd think that this was the whole point, was just to be stuck in the mud. It is the whole This is the challenge. It would be like me complaining about there being fights in Dark Souls.
Well, I complain about there being fights in Dark Souls.
Okay, well, there we go. Wow, I'm really tired, I'm realizing. I'm really, really, really exhausted. You look like you're falling asleep.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not, but I'm really tired.
I think we have to go to bed, pals. Natalie does look like she's fallen asleep. Once again, thank you all for hanging out. Pardon me. Okay. Once again, thank you all for hanging out. I'm going to bed now. I will be actively trying to be on Twitter as little as possible tomorrow, except probably tweeting a little bit about some nice presents that people sent me to say thank you for those. But I will be trying to actively be on Twitter as little as possible tomorrow to have a nice day, and I won't be streaming or anything like that because I am strictly forbidden from working.
Forbidden.
I will be yelled at if I work. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Here I am. I just wanna code. I just wanna write scripts. She won't let me.
You're not allowed.
So I'll see you all around. I'll probably be streaming some Resident Evil 1 on Tuesday. So if you're all interested in that, come see that. In the meantime, please share the Matrix sequel's a good video. I really want people to see it because I'm really proud of it, and I'm just feeling good. I'm just feeling good about the future, and I'm feeling good about what I did today.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This was really nice.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.